Hello, and welcome to the podcast that discusses all things gaming. Coming to you from the home of Indie PopCon, GenCon, and the gaming capital of the world, we are the Established Facts.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a long overdue episode of The Established Facts in person instead of online. I will be your host today. This is Josh, if you're unaware. Before we get...
That's a long last name you have.
It is, yeah, if you're unaware. Yeah, that one, they put that on the birth certificate after the fact. When they handed it to you, just so you know, this is your son, if you're unaware.
Was that fact established?
Something like that. I don't know. Obviously, you can hear there are other people on the microphones as well.
Did you know that you're Deb, if you're unaware?
No, I did not know that, but now I am aware. So,
did you get...
Seriously? This is where this is going? Okay.
It's been too long since we've done an in-person podcast.
Well, why don't we go around and introduce ourselves, starting to my left.
Well, I'm going to be square, and I'm going to be Dr. Deb with the Established Facts.
And I'm Lance. I am not on the microphone. I am, in fact, in front of the microphone.
I don't have a smart comment. I'm Vanessa.
And as I already said, this is Josh. Boy, it has been a while.
A long time.
For those of you that tuned in during PopCon, thank you for supporting Virtual PopCon. They had a few glips here and there, but for the most part it went very well, and we were glad to be a part of that for episode 213. We'll have that up on the site as soon as I can get a hold of a copy of it. So by
the time you're listening to this, it should be there.
It should be.
We hope so.
But this is episode 214, and we're going to be talking about GenCon Online. Because
GenCon Line.
GenCon Line.
GenCon Line.
In today's day and age, we have to run as many things together as possible. So, GenCon Line will be taking place July 30th through August 2nd.
Coming to a living room near you.
No, August 1st. July 30th through August.
No.
Am I wrong? It's the 2nd. It is through August 2nd.
Deb is going to pull out the calendar.
Yeah, calendar.
Because apparently words and numbers are hard.
I'm not the best on this, but
July
we're called
30th
the Established Facts.
through August 2nd.
We established them. That doesn't mean that we actually get to figure out what they are.
July 30th through August 2nd, 2020 is 4 days.
Yes.
The best in gaming.
4 days in gaming at home. So if you have not yet, please go on GenCon.com and check things out. The badge is free. Events cost anywhere from nothing to $2 an entire event. So instead of being, the $2 for 2 hours that it normally is, it's $2 for an entire event. I know Deb and I are going to be playing 3 Pathfinder Society games, a Starfinder Society game, and a Pathfinder Society quest, and it cost us $20 between the two of us, and then we bought a couple extra tickets for the Starfinder game.
You are some pretty high society people.
High society.
We're rolling big now.
And so check it out. I know they're going to be doing online seminars. They're going to do lots of online role-playing. I believe they're even going to be utilizing Tabletop Simulator for playing some board games. There's another one out there.
Adventure Card Guild is using Tabletop Simulator as well.
I think so. There's another one that I keep forgetting. Board Game Arena, I think is what it's called. A few of our friends from BillCon have promoted it quite a bit. And then there's also, I don't have the details on it right now, but GenCon website should have about it. And if they don't, their Facebook page does. But apparently there's a company doing a virtual reality convention hall. Oh. So you'll be able to walk what would have been the GenCon convention hall, but in virtual reality. So
that's pretty fun.
People are trying to do the best they can with this thing. So to get us started, I'm pretty sure this is going to be an easy decision from a versus topic, but we're gonna pit online gaming or conning versus in person online gaming or conning. So I'm going to start with Dr. Deb.
So by conning, I'm assuming you're talking about conventioning and not trying to con someone out of their money. Or
yeah, you shouldn't be conning people out of their money. If you don't understand that,
because,
Bad person.
Way easier to do that online.
yes, it is.
Way
Exactly.
easier.
I was like, that's an easy pick then. But for conventioning, online versus in person, I have to say in person, even though I'm a 100% introvert, I'm going to pick in person.
I agree. In person.
Okay, I'm going to say in person is so much more fun, but there is a lot to be said for the online. So I'm not upset with online because there's
Sounds like
a
you're
lot
sitting
of
on a
bonuses.
fence.
I'm a little on the fence.
Fence sitter. That's all right.
Yeah, it's okay.
One per episode.
I'm very much an in-person convention goer. I, however, am not upset at what we've experienced with virtual conventions thus far. So that said, since Vanessa was the first one to say she wasn't upset about it, I'd be curious, what is it that has drawn you to the concept of an online convention?
Well, multiple things. I don't have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get there for an 8 o'clock game.
Unless you choose to, because there are...
I said I don't have to. Words are important.
They are.
I've heard of that.
You save a lot of money in gas. You don't have to get a hotel if you don't want to be driving back and forth.
Unless you want to get a hotel and make it just, a unique
Right.
experience.
If you want to get away and actually just make it. But I wouldn't go to a hotel anyway because their website or their online probably would not be the best for an online gaming convention. Your hotel.
Hotel Wi-Fi is usually
Yeah.
nothing to...
Plus bed bugs.
Yeah, well...
So we'll just keep it at home. But I mean, and you don't have to necessarily do babysitting. You can have your kids there. Of course, then you're a little bit more distracted. That's why I like the being there because you're inundated in it. You are in it, and I don't think you get that when you're just sitting in your living room. And the breakouts, and you can't go around and hit each other with bats as much.
We have 2 children that do that every day.
It's complete strangers. You usually get frowned on if you go out with bats and just start hitting. You can do that
Unless
at
you're in
conventions.
Seattle.
well...
And that's the only political thing I'm going to say all day.
Thanks.
And that's all we're going to say about that.
No, it's your turn.
Well, so, but before I ask the ambivert, because I'm very curious on your side, because you are like, you live your life on the fence, but
I
Not on the
poke a
edge.
hole in the fence. I crawl through.
On the fence.
fair enough. It's like you hang between it. I am very curious. I'm sure other people are about my introverted wife here and why her in-person preference has shown.
So okay, for all you Myers-Briggs geeks, I know there's one of you, hi Bonnie, one of you out there. It has to do with the way I take in information by my 5 senses. And as Vanessa said, it's much easier to get distracted from the game when you have your 2 kids asking you questions, 4 people just texted you asking you for things, somebody just dropped off your shipped order at the front door, you got to put the groceries away. Whereas when I'm sitting in Sagamore and we're playing the game, the GM's in front of me, I'm watching him roll dice.
And no one's calling with an emergency.
That's true. Yeah, we'll skip that point. Anyway,
I thought that was your own private con game.
Right. Well, pretending no one is calling me with some sort of an emergency, which, yeah,
Happen every con for them, doesn't it?
that is another episode, is what that will be for. Con emergencies will be another But to be there, there's something about the in-person experience. You're surrounded by literally hundreds of other people who are doing the same thing, who are excited about the same thing you are. You get to roll real dice.
But
Nothing against Roll20, but I want to roll my dice.
is
It's not
being
Roll20's
in
fault.
person-
No, it's not. It's not.
But is being in person and being inundated worth getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get there, having your kids watched by somebody else, using up the gas for that, getting the hotel? Is it all worth that?
It depends on the game. For the special, the Pathfinder special, when everyone's on the same mission and it's 800 people,
Almost 1,000,
almost
yeah.
1,000 people plus going in the same direction, and maybe it's my thinker who loves how much planning and thought has to go into organizing this silly thing.
Thank you, Paizo.
Yes, thank you, Paizo. We love you. Yes, but that game normally happens at 8 o'clock at night. That is not an 8 a.m. game on a Sunday morning when I've already been up to 1 a.m. the night before. That Sunday would be great to do online. wonderful. I can get up at 7:30, make my cup of coffee really quick. I'm still in my PJs, and
Do like a hybrid
8 a.m. game.
Don't worry, that's coming.
Yeah, because that would be perfect. Because since I was up to 1 a.m. for the Pathfinder special that we were doing on Saturday night, or sometimes it's Friday night. I guess it's depend. They've done both. Yes, then that would be amazing. Because otherwise, what do? You sleep in and you don't go to that 8 a.m. Sunday game. Because golly gee, my butt is not getting out of bed.
I don't even bother getting tickets for Sunday anymore because there's too many times I've bought them and used them as generics the next year.
I've been 2 to 3 conventions in a row playing the 9 a.m. slot on Sunday without her.
Yeah, I don't know.
Cause, right? I know.
Nope.
You ready to go?
No, I still no.
Starbucks,
I'm not
let's
awake.
do this.
Yeah, he's like, I'll see you after. I'm like, have fun, babe. I'll text you. So there is.
And we still got to find a location to record it.
Exactly. We've checked every hotel 3 times. Okay. So it depends on the game. And there are some games that I've wondered, why did I get up early for this? I had a few, and I should know this was not worth the Starbucks cost that I paid for the coffee for this. But there are some games that, I do think it's worth it.
Right, like the breakout games.
The breakout games, absolutely.
Those are amazing, the way that they put them together.
Yes.
We did one breakout game. It was like breakout rooms. There were like 12 of them that we had to make our way through. It was amazing. And you can't do that virtually.
No.
Or like you're going around hitting each other with your foam swords. You can't do that virtually.
You can't. It does not work when you try to bump your laptop.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying there are some things I'm just like, man, it's just so much more worth it just to stay in my jammies.
Thank you very much. And no one has to see my makeup less face.
Walk to my living room or walk to my kitchen and grab, real food.
Thank you. As opposed to whatever you happen to pick up, the Starbucks is, by Sunday, it's starting to wear off a little bit. Like, can I have a real breakfast? Anyway.
I think a hybrid would be amazing.
Mm-hmm. I actually agree with you, but I'm sure we've stepped on their ideas.
We could have little iPads with our faces on it that kind of like, we can like roll around throughout there, and we could be in the game. Like you get your little iPad faces there. So if you're really there, awesome. You're there. If you're not, there's your iPad with your face.
iPad with your face. See, just pretend I'm here. I'm here just from a distance.
I like it.
Mm-hmm. All right, gentlemen.
Lance, I'm gonna let you go because I think your hybrid personality is gonna hit right on board with.
Okay, why not? Some pros about in-person gaming. Camaraderie. There are hundreds, if not thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, depending on the size of the convention, of people that are all there to enjoy the same hobby. You can strike up friendships with people you're waiting in line with because you have something in common. You're there, you're standing in that same line, waiting to do that same thing. And at the very first day, that starting crush, you're there for hours in front of time. You're making friends left and right. Hey, can you hold my space in line so I can go to the bathroom? Hey, would you hold my space in line so that I can go get that $300 taco that's over there at the food stand
That's
or whatever?
An amazing taco.
It's a regular taco. It's just inflated prices. So there's that instant camaraderie that you get. There is the immediacy of if you're sitting at the table with someone, you can look them in the eye and there's a wink, a nudge, a nod, like you can't see us doing right now, but almost everyone at this table right now just nodded. You can't see that if it's online because it's not immediate. There's still that lag, if there's visualization at all. Some things are only audio mediums. I said those visual cues, the immediacy, photos. It's hard to take photos with cosplayers if you're not in the same place. I mean, you could get a cardboard cutout of them sent to your house and take it, but it's not the same.
Look, Deadpool was in my room.
But then
that whole cosplay is not consent thing goes out the window if you have the cardboard cutout. Just saying. You can meet friends from around the world in person that you can't do. Like, you can't have lunch with someone via computer. You can be having a conversation over lunch, but you can't hey man, can I have some of your fries? Yeah. Or hey, you bought last time, let me buy this time. That give and take, that meeting of people that you don't normally see. We see Tracy Hickman at GenCon. We don't see him much anywhere else, but we see him there, and that's one of the perks, one of the benefits of doing the in-person thing.
The surprise meet, when you don't realize that you're going to be there, and your friend is there, but you didn't realize it. That's not going to happen online. You don't going to randomly be like, oh my goodness, you're randomly online. It's not the same. It's like, hey, you're here. I didn't know you were going to be able to make it. It's so great to see you. There's that fun. Again, it's an immediacy, but that connection and that surprise.
Yeah,
it's a great
totally.
feeling.
One of my commanders, when I was stationed in Korea, and I met up at GenCon 3 years ago. It was, I didn't even know you liked role-playing games. Like, yeah, totally. I'm like, hey, man, let's go have lunch. And we did. We met, we had lunch, we played a game I had never played before at that point, and had a hell of a time as civilians, where there was no rank structure. He wasn't my commander. He was just my friend.
Exactly.
And that was a really cool moment.
Exactly.
The food trucks.
Oh.
I'm not ordering a food truck to my house.
You say that, but they've been coming to our neighborhood 2 or 3 times a week.
Ditto. They come to our neighborhood. But they're not coming to my house. I mean, we're lucky. We have a food truck family that lives 7 houses down from us.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Still not going to their house. But it's there. And then there's the unique games that you can only find at the conventions. The GenCon specials.
Yep.
The 7-room breakouts or beat up the dragon game thing that we did. All those things that you guys have mentioned, those are great for in-persons. Now, some of the cons for in-persons, because I am the guy that does sit that fence a little bit, parking is horrible, especially during con season, and the traffic to get there. Last year, they shut down half the roads to get to the town.
Yes.
So that wasn't so good.
Tell a story.
These are things that you don't need to worry about when you're online, right?
Left or right side of the fence on that one, it doesn't matter. That was stupid.
No, it was just dumb.
There's also fewer crowds. I mean, unless you have a big family, you're not going to be pushing and pulling to get to your computer.
I hope not.
There will be no long lines to use the bathroom, and again,
Woohoo!
unless you have a big family.
Woohoo!
And why don't you have more than one bathroom if you have a big family?
That's the outhouse right there.
The Brady Bunch.
But you also miss out on that con funk smell.
That's true.
That
There's nothing like
permeates
it.
every room of the convention.
Don't really miss out.
Or the con crud that you always get when you're done.
That's also true. Yes.
No, that one's already floating
That's
around
been
the world.
floating around since the beginning of
Oh,
this year.
is that? Please tell me it wasn't con crud that turned into COVID-19. Yes, I
That's
said it
what
out
the
loud.
C stands for, con.
Con. Oh, dadgummit. Well, sorry. All right.
We're not making light of it. It's a serious thing. We get it, okay?
And,
No, we
and
do.
locally, right?
Yes.
Because we are in Indianapolis,
Yes.
masks would be required
Yes.
on everyone, everywhere. And
Yes.
you know how hard it is to understand some people anyway,
Yes.
Yeah.
It's true.
let alone if they're speaking through a mask.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And you can't see their expressions behind a mask.
So, for me, in person, pros, cons, you guys have listed about every possible reason. For me, the in-person element of it is the dealing with getting to see people, getting to see all the games, getting to interact with new booth folks, the people that we've met and interviewed or bought from, like the Carolina Game Table stuff.
Right. We don't get to see them this year.
They weren't able to go to any conventions because Jody is high risk, and there's just there's a lot to that. But what I've found most interesting about all of this from a virtual perspective is I don't think any of these conventions are going to have a choice now but to offer something virtual. I'm not necessarily saying that during Gen Con weekend they have to also have a virtual Gen Con, but a few months later, every 6 months, do a virtual and then do a physical, because the best thing I can suggest about that is PaizoCon normally happens in Seattle. Apparently they have like 2,000 people or something along those lines that normally come. Kind of small, yes. When they went virtual, they ran 1,200 games.
Well, yeah, no one wants to go to Seattle right
Times 6.
But that's the point.
That's at least
they were able to have more people playing games virtually and participating in the virtual stuff than they could ever have in person.
Plane tickets cost money.
2 small children.
Travel costs money.
Yeah.
Hotels cost money.
Keeping the kids occupied costs energy.
Off because I just have to log in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here's my $50 for the convention.
Yeah.
I just spent everything I'm going to spend for this whole thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then,
but you may buy another book. You buy scenarios now. Now you might buy,
or you might roll a natural 20 in a digital game and get a $10 gift certificate to spend at Paizo.com.
Yes, which
I did twice.
Which he did twice.
Right?
Yeah, there's your golf clap.
And he is IT, so I'm a little curious.
Yeah.
Well, during what was supposed to be Origins in June, Origins was limited on their staff, so they had to limit Paizo to being able to run only 100 games. Well, they had like 400 something games approved with GMs. So they took the remaining 300 something and followed the same process as PaizoCon. Then Origins canceled. They were able to absorb all 100 of those games and run everything that was scheduled for Paizo at Origins and what they called concurrent that same weekend because they'd already gone through it. So even when in-person conventions come back, the virtual element is PopCon, I'm sure, is going to recognize we've got an opportunity once or twice a year to do something virtual. We don't have to charge as much and be able to share what we love and be able to do this. Like, there's got to be profitability in this if done the right way. Now, I can't speak for sure of the profitability of virtual PopCon because I'm not privy to any of that. But it was impressive what they did with Tixer and made those videos available and giving people the ability to jump in 15 minutes before and make sure everybody was good to go and then start. It was... I expect that after all of this, that the hybrid convention is going to be a mainstay moving forward.
I can also see it being really welcome for people who have mental health. I'm speaking specifically like anxiety and PTSD, where that close environment is too much, and yet they might be a great role play gamer or board gamer, and they really want that connection, but they just can't deal with it. Like I know several people who get to a point and they're like, I have to get out of here. Like the exhibit hall, I gotta run. And I'm like, okay, you gotta go. We talk about find a quiet corner somewhere, but sometimes there is a hard thing to find a quiet corner in the convention. But here they have that choice. So if you did a hybrid upstairs, well, that is true. Upstairs bathrooms and above, yes. But if you did that, you could have people who might literally do both. Like maybe the first day of GenCon is their day they go, and then the second day they're at home, and Saturday don't go, and then Sunday maybe they go back. Type of a thing. I think that would be great. What about people who don't have anybody to watch their kids? Not everybody has the luxury of having babysitters at their beck and call. And so maybe they only got one day. Well, now I can go to the convention all 4 days. I'm just with my kids the other 3. That's huge. Yeah. So I think the payoff, the long-term payoff will be there because then people will be more willing to, I'll invest in that book because now I'm actually going to be able to play games at home and use what's in that book.
Another thing to go along with that. Everyone here at the table has a job except for the guy speaking right now. I'm a stay-home dad. I'd like 1 day or 2 to just get away from being in my house, surrounded by the same people I'm surrounded by all the time, to go and do something. But I don't need to do that every day. 1 day, maybe 2, is perfect. And then I can jump online and play some games. That'd be fine with me.
Now, the people that are going to suffer most in a situation like this are small businesses who do not have an online presence at these conventions. The good news about that, though, is that there are a lot of companies that there are a lot of ways through Square or through Yahoo or through Google or all of these different, and even selling through Amazon as a third party. And yes, there's a cut. Yeah. There are ways to take yourself online. Etsy is a great option. I mean, Dirty Woods is the local dice tray and dice tower manufacturer that we've bought from recently. They're from here in Indiana. They sell all their stuff through Etsy at their Facebook page. It may drive these small businesses to realize, and a lot of them already have, how important online commerce is going to be.
Yeah.
There could also be a hit to the in-person convention space because if they find out that their sales are the same,
right,
even though they weren't in person, it may not be worth their investment to go. I don't know.
Is that a bad thing? Because isn't that always what we hear from the smaller companies that I tried to get a booth at GenCon and I can't because they go so quickly and the big guys and the cost is expensive and the big guys already got them. Paizo already got the major space. Asmodee already got the major spaces. Fantasy Flight. All the ones that are huge in the exhibit hall.
Maybe if there was a virtual convention marketplace or something along those lines.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm wondering if that might be an idea. They could still get a small. It may not be as big a cut as if they were there in person. Although I don't know because we don't get to every single booth. Does anybody get to every single booth? We try. Okay, we try, but we don't always do it. But if you had,
if by stop at, no. If by walk by, yes.
Every single day.
Okay, all right, fair enough. But my thought would be twice. Okay, because I don't have...
Especially on Sunday.
I don't have supportive enough shoes. No, anyway. But I'm just thinking that might be an advantage because we've talked to people like, hey, are you going to be at Gen Con? And they're like, it's too expensive to get a booth. Or, I don't know, we went for a booth and we don't know if we're going to get it. But in this case, you had all the online booth space you'd ever want. There's no limit.
That works well for the booth people, but for those of us that are bargain hunters that wait until that last day and buy it on sale because they don't want to pack it up, that eliminates that completely.
That's true, but that still doesn't mean they might not do a last day sale because...
And like we have
does special sales and Target does some special sales.
Or what about the giveaways?
And that's true. You'd want to do that.
Swag.
The swag.
They got rid of swag bags years ago.
I know, but I love getting those dice. That's one of the main things I go for.
But those are still there with the coupons. And I think even, is it Crystal Cast that normally does those? I think they're doing that this year.
M-Dog does too.
Like they're selling, you can go to their site and buy, like they are going to give you the free dice if you buy something.
Okay.
So it's not quite the same, but at least for them, they aren't just out shipping costs to give you, buy the Gen Con 2020 dice set and you get
the free one.
Free D6.
Okay. Yeah.
See, that's why I think like having the swag bags was nice because you paid your entry fee, you paid for your thing. This is an instant thing that's going to come to your door. It's going to have a bumper sticker. It's going to have a die. It's going to have that. Now, I understand it became a hassle to handle all that stuff, but that was something that was nice that some other conventions still do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, the coupon book is fine, but when you can't walk to every booth, maybe that, hey, at least you're going to get the D6.
I mean, Hoosier Con's the example I think of. I know they're small, but they're a free convention. But if you pay the $25 membership, you get like a cup and sometimes a board game and a shirt.
Like that's nice
for $25.
Right?
Well, I'm a Hoosier gamer.
Give me a shirt. Give me a shirt. All right.
All right. So clearly we prefer the in-person, but we see the benefits of online. And we are in a situation right now where online is the only option for Gen Con. Mm-hmm. So as a result, some of us have experienced conventions online so far. Some of us have experienced playing board games and or role-playing games online. I want to take an opportunity and actually talk about that. We were supposed to talk about this at PopCon, but we realized that it was our 8-year anniversary, 9-year. Was it 9?
I think it's 9.
9 year.
9
so
for
we
you,
ended
7 for me.
Okay. So we decided to talk about that. When I say we, I mean Don did.
Hi, Don.
We miss you.
That ka-thunk was the bus rolling over you.
Happy birthday, Danny.
So let's talk about some tips and tricks for online gaming. Well, first thing is that what to do and what not to do. Yes, Lance.
That is the
to
question.
do, have a computer.
Have an internet
that kind
connection.
of fits under favorite tech, but maybe that should be necessary tech.
Internet connection.
Yep, that was my next one. Have
Okay,
a hard line. I prefer hard line versus wireless just because you don't want to drop in the middle of some game.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Yes.
Especially if it's your turn and you're vital.
Well, it's happened with the GM dropping out on one before.
Also, a microphone and headphones. Mm-hmm. And do they work?
Yeah.
And did you test them more than 5 minutes before the game started?
I appreciate that you're throwing all the tech support stuff out right now.
Let me just throw that right in your face.
It's extremely important. Now, that being said, because of the drastic environment we're in, getting a hold of a decent webcam, a decent headset and microphone, some of that stuff's been really difficult to get a hold of. So with that in mind, your smartphone is surprisingly capable in a lot of these instances. Now, it's also entirely too mobile. So I've apparently been told that people have been Zooming each other from the bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah, they'll take it with them
That's
while
under
you're
do's
talking.
and don'ts.
Well,
but yeah.
but don't do that. I'm not, just don't.
Please mute your
I missed
microphone when
something.
you're
I had
not
to rescue
speaking.
my child.
Please turn off your camera if you walk away and you're on, say, your smartphone.
Yeah.
Just turn off your camera because
It's okay.
no one wants to see that.
We've discussed muting when your children run through screaming.
Well,
and
yeah,
when you go to
definitely
the
try to do
bathroom.
that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or just mute when you're not talking.
That's also true.
That's a
Yes.
lot of text, but those are the things you're going to need. You're
And
going
then
to need
unmute when you're talking.
a
'cause-
computing device. tablets will do the job as well. iPads, Android tablets, whatever.
Also, make sure you have the correct site. Like, if everyone's going to be on Roll20 and you're on Discord, that's not going to work.
No, it's not.
No.
Well, and definitely communicate with your game master and keep that communication open, because we ran into a problem with the Starfinder Society game we played at Concurrent, where the website that we signed up for had one Roll20 link, and his Starfinder Society Chronicle table that we were supposed to fill out had a totally different link.
Yeah.
And we didn't realize it until we started the game, and we're like, we're here waiting on you. And he's like, no, well, I'm here waiting on you.
And we're like
10, 15 minutes later before we all got connected.
And
But also, be
share your
patient,
link.
because things like that could happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was one of my pieces of advice in the YouTube video, is be patient with your GM, because a lot of them are figuring this out too.
But not your fellow players.
Just be patient.
No, just be patient. Many, many times. How many times do we get a question of how do I do that? How many times did I ask the question, how do I do that in Roll20 again?
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and play with Roll20 beforehand. So if you can get in there.
Or whatever virtual tabletop you're using.
I'm saying Roll20 because a lot of Pathfinder runs there. But play around with it. Watch a YouTube video. There's a ton of YouTube videos that will do tutorials for you. Watch one of those. So at least
Watch
you have an
someone
idea.
playing the game using it,
Yes.
so that you know what to expect.
Exactly.
And don't post your link, or you're going to get somebody on there that you don't want on there.
Right. You will get
You
So-
shouldn't just
A party
mass email your entire company that you're going to do in this one thing this
Or
weekend.
put it on your your
Facebook page or your Instagram or your
Now-
Tumblr, whatever.
I feel like this should be understood without saying, but I'm going to say it anyways. For those that are listening to us that may not have these components and so forth at their disposal, I'm not necessarily going to apologize, but I hope that in the future, if you get yourself into a situation that you're able to have these computing devices, that you take the opportunity to play online with some folks to learn what this is like. And I mean, we played with somebody from Germany, I think.
Yeah, it was Germany.
Germany,
It was
and
also
then somebody else from Australia.
Uh-huh. And maybe, do we have England in there too?
So,
It's
yes.
the same person who's just really good at accents.
Right. yeah.
Exactly. It was
They're
amazing.
good at it. Because there's a whole other list of pros and cons even about online gaming in those instances. So that guy from England is like, I'd never be able to fly to the States to do this.
Right.
So,
There's a Disney song playing.
yeah,
in the
gotcha.
background.
Frozen's playing.
And I think thinking about what game you're going to play, and does it make sense to do that online? Because like doing Clue, unless I'm going to mail you your cards, doesn't make a lot of sense to play like with a webcam on. But there are ones that work very well doing
Unless,
that.
like, you're on a platform that does that. Like, if you have a multiplayer platform, like if we were doing PlayStation, right? Each person could have their own screen, and therefore you could have.
Well, Virtual Tabletop Simulator, which is a application/game available through Steam, is one that supports a lot of board games that you can buy, and it physically puts the board game on a virtual table, and people can join and play the game right from there. The Red Dragon Inn uses that a lot.
Yeah,
that
Yahoo
whole group
Games
does.
used the same
Slugfist.
thing a long time ago.
Yeah,
but I get
spades.
exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, we used to play euchre, and we would sit right next to each other so we could see each other's cards. But if we weren't next to each other, then we could each have our own screen with our own hands.
Yes.
Right.
Board Game Arena was another one that we mentioned earlier. They have a lot of partnerships with some of the other games. Also, if you're into online gaming, get on some video games. Utilize the video game multiplayer technology that's out there, particularly from Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, because they have a very robust online system. And, up until your PlayStation 3 dies, certain games can be
not
really
talking
good to
about
play
that.
online, even if they're 13 years old.
Yeah, we made Josh pull his out so we could play Diablo online with each other.
You killed it. I'm blaming you. It's dead.
Diablo killed it. And that's,
Poor thing.
it's already
We
about.
call it kill monsters.
It is called Kill Monsters. So apparently the PS3 was not a monster. Anywho.
So it may seem like we're kind of, but these are a lot of things that have come up. Yeah, Lance.
Another thing that we want to mention is contact your favorite manufacturers, even those booth peoples that we were talking about. If they're not there, they can still do a lot for you. See if they're having a sale special that's GenCon,
The GenCon
or
sale.
whatever con specific. Find out if they have anything that is unique. I know that, what is it, the Catan people always had like a specific piece or something. The Castle Panic, they have a bookmark, or the Munchkin people have something.
Usually a special card.
The 2020 unique special piece that's only for that season.
In the Harry Potter card game also sometimes have special like cards for both of the games, I thought. Again, the GenCon 2020, here's your special Harry Potter card. If you played a demo, USAopoly is the company. Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. Reach out and say, hey, did you have something special for the 2020 year? How can I get that?
Especially this year, since they probably already made it.
Right, exactly.
And if you're one of the people that kind of likes this, contact the people that make the game and see if you can't get the board signed or the box signed by the person. They're right there anyway.
Right.
Instead of having to go to the convention and stand in line to get it signed, they're right there. So maybe they'll do that for you free of charge. It doesn't hurt to ask. The answer can only be no if you don't.
True.
That's very true.
I was going to say another of the kind of do's and don'ts when you're online. If your GM is asking a question, so is everybody ready to go? Does anybody have any last minute things that they want to do or buy? The cleanup stuff before we leave. Verbally confirm that you heard that and that you're saying it, because sometimes some of us will be forgetting I'm raising my hand because I'm 100% introvert. So I'll just be like, give a thumbs up and I'm taking a sip of my Coke. That doesn't work online. You need to say something and make sure you're not muted as you say it, of good to go. No, I've got everything I need. Something to let them know you're there, because cricket, tumbleweed is very disconcerting because we don't know if you're there or if you dropped out or what. So the constant, just a little, okay, gotcha, makes sense. Just those little comments. I do those more online to let the GM know, yes, we're still with you. You have not lost us. We're still doing the thing, because they can't see your body language. So they can't see from your facial expression if you are bored out of your skull or if you're totally there and you're really involved. If you're trying to find out how that spell works and you're buried in the core manual, well, they can't see that. So verbally explaining that, or put it in the chat that Roll20 has. They probably all have a chat window of some sort. So if you don't want to interrupt the GM, totally polite, that's awesome. Put it in the chat over there and they can read it.
I used to text Adam the same thing. If I needed to say something, but just to Adam, I just text him.
Exactly. Now, I don't always, I can't text through my phone, but that's what the text is for on the Roll20, for instance. There's also Whisper GM on Roll20. I don't know if the other ones have something similar.
Most of them with a chat platform have some sort of way to communicate directly to the game master.
Right. So use that if there's a question you have directly.
That said, as a game master, pay attention to that chat.
Yes, that's true.
True.
Yep, and I say that even because like those that have been gaming with Zoom, which by the way, probably the most, other than pharmaceuticals, probably the most financially successful
awesome company of the year.
Just gracious.
The places I know are not going to go out of business: Lilly and Zoom.
Yeah.
And Pfizer.
That's true. Pfizer.
Singer.
Yeah. AstraZeneca. A Singer and Brother. That's true.
UPS.
Coats and Clarks because of the thread. Amazon. Joanne Fabrics with their
Amazon
millions of masks that they made with the people that
they are still sold out on some digital content that people need, want to get for this time frame.
Even my local gun oil company that I buy from switched to making hand sanitizer.
Oh my
So they just sent out hand sanitizer in their gun oil bottles.
Nice.
That's so perfect.
Okay.
Any other advice for people?
Well,
because I got one more.
Okay. I know for me, it's the be patient is a huge thing, because a lot of people are working with just their built-in webcam and their built-in microphone, and a lot of times those sound like junk or they look like junk, and it really doesn't matter as long as they're involved, they're doing what they can, and they're trying to be a part of it. And I know because there have been some discrepancies I know that Deb and I have had in a lot of instances, like related to the kids, because we'll have to mute and go take care of our kids, and we'll have to do this and that. And I very much take the stance of, is if you're a game master who has a problem with me taking care of my kids when we're all stuck at home, stop game mastering. Because this is a situation where we're all in the same boat. But we've not had that.
No.
So I'm stating that because I can't have the mentality of I'm being rude taking care of my kids when I have to be home and we're taking care of the kids.
Right.
I'm not going to have that mentality. I'm not going to be rude. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure it doesn't interrupt the game by muting microphones and this, that, and the other, which you should definitely do.
Yeah. Or one of us will leave to take care of the kids.
Also
The other
mute
one
your
sits there and
phones.
listens. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Put your phone on. Yes. One of us will usually stay at the table, and then usually the other one will go and handle it, kind of a thing. So you're still there listening, and then it's one of those, okay, what I miss, and that's good. If you're by yourself and you got to take care of your kids, you got to take care of your kids.
But I mean, if you're at a table at an in-person live convention and you get that phone call that I got to answer this, it's my kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Most GMs, most storytellers, most dungeon masters, whatever, they're going to be just like that. I mean, there are the same ones who are like, really, you're going to interrupt my game, and you're going to find people like that
Life
online.
happens.
You're going to find
Yes.
people like that in person. You're going to find people like that in your office.
Don't be that way.
Don't be that guy.
No, don't be that guy.
All right. Well, you have one more at least because I do have a couple more kind of quick topics I want to talk about. But
This is the advice thing, and we always say this, and it should go unsaid, but it has to be said every year. Even though you're at home, please shower. Please wash your hands and use soap.
Yes.
We get it. Not everybody's getting a haircut. Not everybody's getting a shave or a pedicure or manicure, but you still can take a shower.
Please take a shower.
Just take a shower.
Or a bath. I mean, it doesn't have
Even
to
if
be
you
a
live
shower.
alone.
Right, yes.
Please take a shower.
Exactly. Or a bath. You're absolutely right.
Or as jokingly said, wash your butt. That's
Well, you know what? That's
That's part of taking a
yes, I
shower.
know that.
It's included.
I
That's
know
a
that.
bidet.
That's fair.
Which you can do,
those
too.
apparently sold out a lot too on Amazon during this
Yeah, the
time
water
frame.
fountain you put
paper.
right next to your toilet. I love those things.
That got weird, but that's okay.
There you go.
All right, I want to throw
I used to live in Germany, right next to France. There was one. We were at a hotel in France, and there was a kid in the public room, turned on the bidet, and was drinking from it like a water fountain. So that's why.
Okay,
it's
that's
a water
fair.
fountain.
So
Wow.
just a couple things with all of this happening, with us having to go online for certain things, we've had to find ways to kind of make it our own or to make it work best for you. I got two things that kind of have come out of this and whatever. What during the year of online gaming, what is a favorite snack of yours to have during an online game? And what is your favorite piece of tech that you may have either acquired or started using again or are just glad you happen to have during this whole situation? I actually already have mine, so I'll give you a minute to talk about it. So my favorite snack thus far probably would have to be Monster energy drinks, particularly their juice drinks. I've really become a fan of those because the Speedways here have them 3 for $5.75. I can go like during quarantine and whatnot was going on. It was like, you know what? I can go out to the gas station and fill up my gas tank and grab a couple
stations are
Monsters,
still open.
put them in the fridge, just to kind of get away for a few minutes. And then just, I have one a day, kind of help get the energy up. But favorite tech, I bought a Bluetooth speakerphone by Anker, Anker. And the reason I bought that is because it has a decent speaker in it. It's got 6 microphones on it that we could put between my wife and I. It has a mute button right on the top of it if we need to mute the thing really quickly. And because of the decent audio and the decent microphone, when we're playing virtual online games...
You got a conference call machine.
I basically did, because most of these online games, nobody's using video. They're using audio and virtual tabletop. And frankly, if there's one thing that Roll20 really needs to work on, it's their audio video side of it. So Paizo was having everybody use audio on Discord and then use Roll20 as the virtual tabletop, or Fantasy Grounds if somebody doesn't know how to use Roll20.
Just get a table-sized iPad.
That's
all you need.
It's a conversation for we were talking about that because there's a guy on Etsy who sells like custom-made wood frames with a plexiglass that you can mount the TV in, and you can use like a map Roll20 type thing and show it as an external display. And I thought, well, it'd be really interesting if we could put that TV in the box but still have the TV mount on the back of it, so we can just pick it up and mount it up on the wall, and then when we want it, we can take it off the wall and put it on the table.
You need something that hydros the table to the wall.
The whole table.
It just becomes a theater screen.
But I really recommend that speakerphone for folks. It's $100, and especially in times when we're supposed to keep our groups of people close to home or small in number, like, we got 4 people here. It's nice to have something like that because, you're not tethered to the headphones, especially when you have kids. You can still hear everything that's going on, and they're not hearing a bunch of echo, which if you're just using a hot mic in your speakers, you can get that feedback, that echo back and forth, whereas a speakerphone is designed specifically for eliminating the voice it's hearing from what's it's the microphones are good at eliminating what's coming out of the speakers from their input. So that's where I have Deb.
I was sure you were going to say your PlayStation 3. Revitalizing your PlayStation 3.
I took it to You Break I Fix, and all they did was say You Break I Can't Fix.
I'm sorry.
So
that
exactly
technology is ancient by now.
Yeah, right. 10 or 13 years ago.
They tried.
Yeah, they did try. We'll give them that. Yeah, they got the try point. Snack. So I've been trying to avoid the crunchy snacks, which is hard because, you want your barbecue chips, you want your Doritos. I've been trying to avoid that because crunch, 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 as my husband's saying something. Because remember, the mic's live. Not really what I'm going for. So, like the soft baked chocolate chip cookies, the soft, brownies, those things that don't have that crunch but are still just.
Are you making
satisfying.
some of these? Because you're making me some.
Well, actually, Josh made the cookies. One was that a few weeks ago. You made some cookies. I'm the brownie maker, but at any rate, the softer stuff so you don't drive your fellow gamers nuts with the crunching in the background. Favorite tech? I'm not really the person to ask about favorite tech. I'm glad my laptop works. Does that count?
But to say, Josh takes care of all of it.
Exactly. I feel like a dumb
Your
question.
Your favorite tech is the chair you sit in?
That is very true.
The knitting needles.
The knitting needels that do come along. That's true. I actually am not knitting at the moment. I feel a little naked. I don't have my knitting needles. But anyway, that's a hard one. I like Roll20, but that's not really a tech. Like, I like the way the Roll20 flow goes, but again, I don't know if that's really tech. So I'm grateful for my husband, who's the IT guy, who handles the tech.
So if not tech, what is some device, some thing that you have either rediscovered during this time or have discovered that has been beneficial for your gaming? And if it's knitting needles, it's knitting needles.
I like Hero Lab Online. I've gotten to actually get into that because we have to have the characters built, and then we put them into, I say Roll20 over and over because we've been playing Pathfinder and Starfinder games, and that's what they use. I like Hero Lab Online. I'm understanding it pretty well. Yeah, my husband has had to translate a couple things, but I'm understanding it pretty well. Like, okay, I know how to put things into backpacks, and I know how to... I think I know how to do the fame and faction points now. I like Hero Lab Online. When I had to go back to old Hero Lab for the game we're going to be playing later, I was like, how do I do this in here? I don't remember. I know. Josh had to guide me in the way of the original Hero Lab.
You could always just use pencil and paper.
Wow. Ooh. Wait, not a printer? How
dare you?
Right, exactly.
Get some Scotch tape and put it over the paper so that you can write and erase it and not ruin the paper.
And not ruin the paper? Whoa, we are going so old school here, people. So I'm going to say Hero Lab Online.
Lance?
Well, now that Deb said the thing about the crunchy thing, it made me think, because my favorite gaming snack has been, for the last few years, animal crackers and jalapeno cheese dip.
Mm-hmm.
Which is way better than it should be.
It really is.
It was a surprising flavor combination that I discovered, and I really enjoyed it.
Shock and awe.
But I've recently discovered chocolate-covered popcorn, which gives you the flavor of chocolate and popcorn, which some people do dig, without the crunch, because the popcorn has softened the chocolate has softened the popcorn so that it doesn't pop and crunch. It just kind of squishes.
Right. And you get the sweet and salty combination, which some people really like.
Right. So maybe a chocolate drizzled popcorn so that you don't get so much of the chocolate on the popcorn.
But still, that would still soften it so it wouldn't be as crunchy as them.
Or, grapes. For the healthy folk out
Strawberries. Carrots are a little crunchy.
And my favorite piece of tech that I have rediscovered is the multi-charger. The cord that splits into different directions. It has a lightning charger on it, a micro USB charger on it, and et cetera, so that you can have those external battery things and be charging one device while you're using another.
Perfect.
Vanessa?
My favorite gaming snack. Wine? Does that count?
Sure. I mean, I used to drink.
It's got calories and grapes.
I mean, it's one of the very few times I drink wine, grapes. But when I sit down and have a game, it's fun to just have a glass of wine. So
takes a little bit of the edge off of that. What did I just roll?
And it makes it more of like a special event kind of a thing.
I like that.
Kind of puts it to it because it's something you only do then. And honestly, I'm going to say my not new tech, but we had to get our cameras that, because we usually use the cameras that are automatically on the computer, but it's so hard to mount your computer up and around so you can see the game board that's underneath it. So we had to hunt up and find our old USB cameras that you can
and
attach.
A lap desk.
And like put some So those are the new things I have refound and used that took us a while to find in our Maj Podge of old tech.
Everyone's got that drawer of cable that they're never going to throw away. They might use that Nokia from 16 years ago.
I'm going to say, we have almost a room full in my house. But
that said, I am going to give a quick tech tip for folks. If you have a current Panasonic, Fuji, or I want to say Canon camera, most of them utilize USB Type-C, so again, they're current. They now have beta software that allows you to plug it in with a USB connection and use it as a webcam. It doesn't bring in audio, but it brings in the camera. And because that's during quarantine, I went completely over and above and have like a full-blown video switcher and 3 DSLRs hooked up upstairs.
Looks like a recording studio in our bedroom.
Stupid.
Wow.
Which is not awkward at all.
What you guys do is up to you.
Well, I won't say that when we first set it up, I'm like, you do realize that you can see the bed from that camera, right? And he's like, it's turned off. I probably it's turned off and like unplugged
he
it.
He knew
and all
exactly where he could see the bed.
Yeah, exactly.
That was part of the plan all along.
I'm just saying. So now you're going to have to edit that out. Sorry. But anyway, it was still one of those
it's funny.
He's like, why? It's true.
It is true. It's absolutely true.
Anywho,
since we're doing tech tips, not everyone has headphones with a microphone attached. Some people just have like the very old, like single copper wire headphones. If you have a pair of headphones that you like that don't have a microphone attached, you can actually plug in those old single copper wire headphones into your microphone port of your computer and use that as your microphone.
Yeah.
What, and talking to your headphone?
And talking to your headphone.
Well, you would look really old school then, like one of those operators that.
I'm not saying that I don't do that now.
Well, on a lot of newer systems, newer computers, they now use what's called a combo jack. That's the headphone and microphone port. So if you still have a set of mobile earbuds that have the microphone built in, that still utilizes the 3.5 jack, but has the 3 rings on it. You can plug it into one of those combos, and it will utilize the mic on your headset.
That's how I do my Zoom meetings.
Yeah. So, and a lot of people, especially if they're,
because I'm old,
but it's okay. Especially if they're Mac owners, they have that functionality pretty easily available. That's the whole discussion into why there should be more USB Type-C than there are, but we'll go into that some other time. But we're about to the end of time.
We had a time limit?
Of course.
Oh.
Yes, we still have a time limit. We try and keep these down to an hour.
At least.
We try.
A loose
With that said, though, I think this has been an interesting look into the world of in-person and virtual gaming, and I hope you gained some element of knowledge and some tips and tricks
They
for
were
us.
laughing through some of it.
Or at least we were.
All 6 of our listeners listen.
Exactly.
On episode 213, we established that Living Room Con 2020 as the best 365 days in gaming.
You're not going to take off Christmas?
I mean, you can still play games on Christmas.
Because sometimes you get them under the Christmas tree, right?
I hide from the kids. They seek me.
Hide and seek it is. On today's episode 214, we will establish that just because we establish a fact doesn't make it true. Wait, Lance, did you say you had one more?
Well, we were talking about it recently, so I just thought that since facts are facts and it doesn't matter if they're true or not, I just wanted to say that sometimes you can use your gaming tech in the bedroom.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of The Established Facts.
And if you need advice on how to set it up, I'm sure you can email and ask Josh.
Remember, you can see the bed.
With that, Don, we will catch you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bonus.
Please visit us at www.theestablishedfacts.com and our Facebook page, facebook.com/theestablishedfacts. If you would like to support us by buying some merchandise, visit cafepress.com/castingrobot.
Bonus.